Hi, everyone. Hopefully we're online. You can hear and you can see me. We're just waiting for Ellen to come on as online as well. So if you are here and you can hear me and you can see me, can you just pop a little hello into the chat it should be on the right-hand side of your screen, just so that I know you're there. Thanks, Dino. All good. You can see and hear me. We've already got about 12 people up, which is fantastic. We're expecting over 50. We've got 70 registered, which is fantastic. So maybe just to get the morning started. Hi, Katie. Hi, Helen, Diane, Les. Great to have you all here. Maybe can you just write in the chat comments where you're from so we can just get an understanding of where people are around the globe? That would be awesome. And Ellen's here, so I'm going to invite her to come on now as well. Ellen, you should have just got an invitation to share the screen. So hopefully we'll both be popping on. Ubud, Bali, Perth. Awesome. Singapore. Awesome. So good to see people from all around the world.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay, so Ellen should be joining us. All right, here she is. She's here. Hello.
Hello. Awesome. I'm so close to my computer right now.
I know it does quite a close up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Awesome. So good to see you this morning. This is going to be so much fun. Ellen and I first met, 2 weeks ago? It was crazy. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we had this conversation. It was just like, boom. It just was such a, I don't know. It was one of those conversations that you have like, have we known each other in a previous life? It was quite funny, actually. Ellen's family and my family are from like 200 kilometers away from one another in Italy.
Yeah, super close.
Yeah, even more crazy. Hey, I just asked everyone to put down in the chat room where they're from so we can see where people are from all over the world. And at the moment, we've got Singapore, Perth, Ubud, and,
Perth.
The States.
Really?
You.
Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone.
Oh, awesome.
Over here.
Awesome. So good. Okay, I'm looking so forward to getting into this conversation. So, Ellen, do you just want to start by telling everybody where you're from and what you do, and yeah, just give us a little intro into frequency. So, just before you do that, I'll just start. I'm Maria. I heard about Ellen from a client of mine who was raving about her. We're having a bit of an event about business coaches and how we didn't really know who to trust, or people that work with us and aren't up on their own rantan recommending something that's not going to work for us. And my client just said, oh my God, you've got to speak to Ellen Ercolini. She's amazing. She's got this completely different way of looking at things, and she matches you and your frequency and all these other modalities to work out what you should be doing. And I was like, oh, I want to talk to this woman. So we set up a chat, and we had this it was one of those face palm moments, like, oh my God, where were you 4 years ago when I was like struggling trying to work out what I was doing? So that's what gave life to this webinar. And Ellen's here, so she's going to share with us what she knows about frequencies and using me as a case study, which is pretty exciting. So you'll get a bit of an insight into my life. So yeah. Ellen, do you want to just introduce yourself quickly, and then we can get started?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I see Cheryl's from California, but she lives in Auckland right now. I'm over here in Oakland, California, so represent. And I'm from California as well. Oh my gosh. And so it's nighttime here, and my dog likes to be part of these calls. So this is my dog Huxley, and he is my coworker. And I'm a business strategist for creative entrepreneurs and small business owners. I really believe in building a business from the inside out. So what that means is looking at who you are, what you're about, all your internal stuff, and then creating something that really lets you expand and be more of who you are in the world in a way that's really personalized, really custom, really tailored to you. So I'm allergic to the 10 steps to 6 figures, or the I did it this way, so you should too. All of those models. Like, my work is really, who are you as a person, as a unique butterfly? Like, what is your stuff? Let's figure that out, and then let's build a business that is so tailored to you that you're not trying to I often talk, a lot of my clients are trying to stiff arm something. Like, if you're at the gym and you have a weight in your hand and you try to move it to the side of your body, it's really hard and you're kind of off balance and it's exhausting. But if you use your core to just move forward, it's almost effortless, right? You don't have to put any force into it. You're just doing what you do, and you're moving this thing forward. And so that's really how I see business growth, is it should be coming from your core and who you are. And so I developed frequency so I've been doing this work, 6 years now, which feels just amazing to me. And about 3 years in, I discovered frequency, and it's based on the 9-star key, which is a very ancient, the oldest actually Chinese astrology, or Asian, I should say. It's gone through many Asian countries, astrology, and I fell in love. I fell in love, and I realized that this is something that helped me understand myself better and stop beating myself up for things I really couldn't change. And it gave me a vocabulary to explain that about myself. And what I also realized was in my clients, they needed this permission and they needed this help too, because especially, I mean, most of my clients are women. So they have this, like, I have to do all the things, I have to be all the things, I have to listen to everyone else, and they're spread way too thin. And so where my frequency work comes in is it's an interpretation of the 9-star key. So it is uniquely my own. And I tailored it to help business owners like understand themselves and grow healthier, stronger businesses. And basically it gives them an inroad to that internal self part, right? It's really metaphor based. And as we're going to see in a quick minute here, and it helps you just be like, oh my gosh, this is me. Like, this is what I need to be successful. This is what I can let go of because this actually isn't me. And I've sort of always known that. And now I can stop feeling guilty about that. You know, that's a big thing, right? We always feel like we have to do all the things. And if we're not, there's something wrong with us. Like, why don't I have a group program? Why don't I run a Facebook community? Like, why don't I have a radio show and a course, you know? And it's like, not everyone is meant to do all of those things, please.
No. And this is exactly where we were at when we had our conversation. Ellen started talking about this process, and obviously I did the quiz, and then she's like, yes, well, I can tell that blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, like, really, where were you 4 years ago when I was trying to work out what I wanted to offer? And even like I was explaining with Ellen in the call, I've only just sort of completely changed all my offerings again. And having this call with Ellen, I was just like, boom, I was trying to make these decisions. And then having this call with Ellen, I was like, oh my God, like, I can't now go back. There's no way that I can go back to what I thought I might want to offer. It's like, no, it's not. And that analogy you used about operating from your core or operating from, you know, out here somewhere, it's so true. When you are sitting in your strengths and setting in your frequency, whatever the word is, I mean, it's not, frequency is not strengths. And Ellen's going to explain a little bit more about that in a minute, but it is so different. Things just start flowing. My business went from like literally going backwards to taking off when I started focusing on the things that I should have been focusing on right from the start. So that's why we came together, so that we could use this knowledge and use this understanding of how much in retrospect this could have helped me years ago. And I just wish that I'd spoken to someone like Ellen when I first started, although I did have great business advice and I did have great coaches. I think for anyone who's running a business at the moment and feeling like it's just not gelling, it's hard, really, really hard work, this might be a piece for you. This might be, you know, there might be a ka-ching moment or an aha moment and you're like, oh, that's why. So this is why we're bringing it to you. Now, we don't want to be on the line for an hour and a half trying to fill up time. So we're going to try and keep it nice and short and snappy. We're hoping between the 30 and 40 minute mark. If there's any questions, pop them in the box.
Please do.
On the side. We've got some outcomes that we wanted to get through. So I'm just going to quickly, as all good teacher trainers would do, is just quickly run through them for you in case you didn't have them in front of you. So basically we're going to, just pulling them up in my screen here. So how understanding your frequency is like fine-tuning your inner compass. So we just talked about that a little bit. So how it allows you to make decisions easier and see clearly which products and services you should be delivering. And with confidence, let go of the things that are meant to pass you by. Woo! That's the major outcome. A couple of smaller ones there. How understanding the frequencies of those around you can help you communicate better. And this is what we were working out when Ellen was talking about this. I was like, oh, well, that's why my boyfriend does this. Or that's why my colleague works like, like it was like, oh my God, pennies dropping all over the place. So it's not just about understanding you and your business. It's also understanding the people around you. And if that's your colleagues or your employees or whatever, it's going to make a much better business sort of environment, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about how that's affected me and my clients and Ellen and her clients, and hopefully give you some insight that you didn't have 9 minutes ago. So shall we get started? Again, if there's any questions, stick them in the chat box and we will deal with them as they come up. So if you see my eyes darting around, it's because I'm keeping track of everything. But Ellen, go.
Yes. Okay. Oh no, I just lost the video part of this. I wanted to put, am I here?
Yes, you're here. We can see you. Can you not see us?
You know, my computer's a little fussy. I wanted to put the quiz link in the thing so if people wanted to take the quiz so they could have a sense of themselves as we're talking. I thought that might be helpful.
We can do that. Do you want to start? And do you mean the quiz link from your website?
Yeah, if you just go to my site and click, so you can just go to eleanorclooney.com and click take the quiz at the top, and it's like a 6-question quiz. You should be able to take it while we're talking, and then you'll have stuff spinning in your head.
All right, I'm just going to stick the website in the chat window. So if anyone wants to click on the chat window, the link there is for Ellen's site. and just go right up the top, and it says take quiz, and you should be good to go.
Then you'll have something to look back to as I give these examples.
Awesome.
So fine-tuning your frequency is like fine-tuning your inner compass. So basically there's how frequency works. Like the overview is there are 3 positions to it, which is one of the main reasons why I fell in love with it. Because in Western astrology, it's like, you're this, you're an Aries or a Libra or Scorpio. And unless you have like an academic degree in planetary alignment, it's harder to go deeper. And truly, I never fully resonated with that. Like, yes, I'm a Leo, but I'm also kind of an introvert and kind of like, oh, there's all these other pieces of my personality. So frequency has 3 positions. It has one for your outer, like bar of chocolate. What kind of chocolate bar are you? How do your friends and family see you? How do you generally show up in the world? Then there's one for your inner world. So how you are in your closest relationships. And we know that we're different with our nearest and dearest, right? Because I mean, I'm sure our partners tell us that all the time. And then there's one for work. And this is where my work really hangs out, because often our position is different than our regular life sort of overall position. And it can fight, right? So I tend to imagine it like there's a 3-headed like dragon in our Medusa in all of us. And it has different voices for different times and places and spaces in our lives. So for you, Maria, your outer, how the world sees you, is wood, which is fantastic. Wood is very action-oriented. It's very driven. They're natural teachers and they're natural life coaches. Wood is very good about looking backwards and being like, I did it this way. I'm going to organize it and make this clear. And then here, you can do it this way too. And when it's thought out.
Exactly what I do, right? Yeah.
And especially, and what's so cool about this to me is like, and that's what you help other people do. Right? So not only is that like how your business works, but it's how your brain works, and you help other people do that, because that's not going to be their strength, right? My guess is if we started going through and typing your clients, you don't have that many wood clients, because wood people sort of naturally are going to be more of this like go getter, make it happen, 9 steps to whatever. Like they're very organized in their brains. They're very good with lists and steps.
No, I tend to get creative people that have just got so much. They've got so many ideas. They're content creators. They're like, oh, there's this and there's this and there's this and there's this. It's an absolute chaotic mess. It's like, what do we do with this? Okay, let me organize it.
Them create order from chaos, right? And help them take their brilliant genius work and create a stepping like ladder to go through, which is what your brain is so good at. So actually, before I talk about your work frequency, which is a little bit different, I'm going to give a quick overview of all 5 frequencies. That way, if anyone is taking the quiz and they're like, but I'm not wood, like, what does that mean? I'll give a quick overview and then we can dive in a little bit. So the first one is water. And water is, and so the millionth thing that I love about frequency is it's so metaphor based, right? So you think water, it's like, what are the water metaphors? You know, still waters run deep. Water just needs time, and it can erode literally anything. Like it formed the Grand Canyon over periods of hundreds and thousands of years, but still, like water gets shit done, but on its own time frame and on its own scale. Water is
water. I know a few waters in my close circle.
Yeah, my mom and brother are both waters, and when I figured this out, I was like, oh, it's like herding cats. Because they're like fiercely independent, but also they're like on their own time schedule, and then like weird about it. It's like it's a whole thing, and I have to say, waters are the least understood in Western society, right? Western society rewards the wood frequency, right? The go-getters, the doems, the make it happens. Water is like, I just want to meditate, and like I need to dream on this, and I need to be in nature. And if you give water enough time, they're gonna come out the other side and they're gonna do brilliant work. But if you try to rush water, you're just going to fight with yourself, and nobody wins when you fight water. Like that doesn't work. So it's complicated, and they tend to have. I think they can have a bit of a harder time because people tend to not understand them as much. But they're really brilliant and independent, and they're great entrepreneurs because they're not afraid, because you can't hurt water, right? Like water, just if you melt it, it reforms, it absorbs into the ground, it goes back up in the sky, it becomes rain. Like you can't break water in the way that you can say break a stick in half or burn it. You know, burnout is a big thing that follows wood people around because that's what happens. So there's water. Yeah, there's water, and then water does go into wood. And so what I just described for Maria is true for all the wood out there. They're very driven. I always joke, it's like go, 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 grow, grow, grow. You know, it's that energy of roots in the ground, tree leaves in the sky, like really growing big in both directions, very ordered mind, very big into lists, the most understood in Western society. Like we sort of like, that's what we reward, right? Is like you have a plan, you do the plan, you execute the plan, you go to the next thing. They can be a bit of a train sometimes because not everyone is like them, but also they are the people that sort of move things forward, and that's a really important role. So then we have fire, which is everything you think about with fire, right? It's passionate. Fires are very visionary. I looked up everybody that like started the internet back in the day, and all the major internet companies like Oracle and Google and BuzzFeed, Steve Jobs, the Microsoft guy, Bill Gates, all fire. So what fire does is it's like fire starter, right? They're really good at seeing the holes in the universe, like the shit that kind of needs to happen, and then getting it started and getting people on board. They're really passionate. They're really charismatic. And so there are these passionate, charismatic leaders that like to start things and not always finish them, which is a big part of my work with my clients, right? Like how do you build a business if you're a fire starter and you don't like to finish things like out? And that's kind of who you are, right? Like, how do you create a business that supports that instead of always makes you feel like a failure? Fire also is really powerful. And if it's unchecked, it will burn down the Western Australia or United States, right? Wildfires. It gets so destructive without even realizing it. It's like, oops, did that happen? But if you contain it, it's like powers a rocket ship to the moon. You know, like fire that's focused is unstoppable.
Awesome.
So that's fire. And then you go into the earth, and I am an earth frequency, and earths are all just like, I love you and I want to hug you and feed you. And like, you're a unique butterfly. Do you need anything? Like they're the mama earth, right? Mama earth, very grounding. And this works really well for me in one-on-one work with my business. Cause people always, when they get to me, they're like, oh, I feel seen. I feel cheerleaded. I feel like you get me. And that's like my superpower. And that's a problem when it comes to scaling my business, right? Because I can't be doing this work one-to-one for the rest of my life. Like that doesn't work. So that's a big piece that I work with a lot of earth clients on, is how to take their big old hearts and put their heart at the center of their business and move it forward that way. Because earths tend to be a little insecure, like a little more than the other people, and have a lot of doubts that they can really get paid for essentially like really loving up on people. And so that's really fun. And then the last one is metal. And so metal is royalty. They're regal. They're the energy of big picture thinkers, small picture vision. So the eagles, you know, like you're 20,000 feet up, but you can see the mice in the field. I know eagles don't actually fly that high, but you know what I mean? It's like you're really high up and you can see the details. That's metal. So metals are artists, metals are creators, metals are really good at being like if your assistant is metal, their attention to detail is going to be like out of control. It's so good.
Awesome. What you need.
Yeah, so now you can see, so here are these 5 flavors, right, of different frequencies. And if somebody's, let's say, fire and water, they're always kind of like, what happens? The water's trying to go slow and the fire's trying to go fast, and they kind of put each other out. And so they end up being really stuck within themselves about being like, well, I want to move forward, but I can't quite do this yet. Like, ugh. And that tends to be honestly one of the big symptoms of when people come find me. It's because they're like, I have all these pieces. It's not really working. What the hell is going on? And then I get to be like, here's your frequency. Here's when you should be listening to the fire part of you. And here's when you should listen to the water part of you, right? And splice those things out so that they can understand them better. So for you, going back to your business evolution, Maria, your work position is fire, which is visionary. It's creative. It's passionate. It's naturally magnetic. Fire people professionally should be on camera. Like they are, like there's a natural magnetism there.
And here I am.
Yeah, you're doing it. Exactly. That's the thing. It's like, oh, it's working. And I'm sure you've noticed over the last couple of years, the more you've put yourself out there, the more people have found you and come to you and been like, oh my God, I love you and I need you, because there's this natural magnetism to you. Whereas somebody who's, say, got metal in their work position or water in their work position isn't going to be as naturally comfortable on camera, you know, and they're not going to be as naturally magnetic and effervescent and just connected with people. And so that's a big piece to realize when looking at how these things play together.
Well, and it makes a lot of sense, because what I do with people is bring their idea to life. Like they come and go, oh, I've got all this content, I don't know what to do with it. I think I want to do an online course, but everyone told me, and they're all stuck in the details. And I'm just like, whoa, like, let's look at this. Let's look at all the possibilities. And generally speaking, I tend to give people like a big sort of push forward. I give them the framework, I give them the idea, I talk through the vision.
Like a gust of fire behind them, like one of those big, like sort of almost volcano, like pushes into the world.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's what it feels like. And a lot of my clients come back and say that, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do it without you because you had the vision and you made me think about all the different sides of it. And then I came up with something that I was confident was actually going to work because we'd made sure all the other possibilities weren't. So it's almost like, whoop, there you go. And as quickly as possible as well. Like, I don't want to be hanging around for months and months and months on end. Like, you know, you got to go out and do work. But yeah, it's from a work perspective, definitely I amp up, get them started, and then they're on their own. So
you are the fire starter for your clients, and you've got this really analytical, like orderly brain. So once you get done with the vision piece of things, you're able to be like, here's the things, here's what you do, now go off and do it. That's such a great example of what being a fire starter looks like professionally, of like you literally helping your clients get all this stuff up and running, and then they go do the work. I think that's great.
And that's why all the online offerings and the things that I like, I'm gonna offer this online community, and I'm gonna be there like every week, and I'm gonna help everybody, like, because this model works for other people, so I'm gonna give this a go. It always was just like, I mean, don't have a problem with commitment, and I don't have a problem with wanting to help people. I know that my whole, like my one of my core desired feelings is about being of service. So helping people, seeing them grow, and then like ka-ching, it worked. Like that really lights me up. So this is why I could never understand why something like, you know, being the creator of an online community and being there for people on a weekly basis and helping them, that should make me feel good. But when you explain it like this, it's like, that's why it doesn't, because it's sort of like, oh God, when does it end? I can't fire start everybody at once.
Yeah, fire start everyone. It's not the right environment to get that movement and momentum, right? It's like too disparate. Like it's not contained in any way. And I have to say, what the firewood combination is always dancing with is burnout, because you're so strong, you're so capable. It's like, it's so easy for you to just say yes to things, just to expand just a little more. And then all of a sudden it's like, we're halfway, you know, across the United States being like, oh my God, I just burned down everything.
Well, and that's what happened to me after 2.5 years in the Pacific. It was just like, yeah, we can start a community English center. Yeah, we can start community Zumba classes. Yes, we can do this. We can do this. We can fundraise money for the today's. Wow. Like it was just all these things. And I'd started so much. I ended up with multiple organ failure. My body literally gave out. It was just like, we're done. And it was, I mean, I found out later I was riddled with parasites and my body just gave up because it could no longer cope with the level of toxicity in my body. However, I did recover, but it wasn't just the parasites, you know, it was that sort of constantly lighting everybody up and getting different departments started. I mean, when I got there, how funny is this? The whole place burnt down. Talk about a fire starter. I walk into the country and the campus burns down. Awesome. So we had so much new stuff to start, and it was starting a community, it was starting classes, it was starting a teacher training program, it was starting a testing system, you know, and I was there to start all of those things, and couldn't do it. Totally burnt out. So it just makes like actually so much sense.
Yeah, and if you're not being paid for that, right? It sounds like some of that was work, some of that was extra, you know, and I think it's look at businesses. That's part of why we charge people, right? So that when you're giving that energy and you're doing this fire starter work, you are getting energy back from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so if you're trying to do that in a Facebook community, like without it's gonna do nothing. It's gonna go nowhere. It's gonna sputter and it's gonna drain you.
Well,
like completely.
And this is what I found. Like I did the 12-day challenge, which the first time I did it, it was amazing. Like I had 150 people in there. We had this group dedicated to it. There were like so many comments. I was literally for 12 days like, going, oh my God, this is insane. Like I didn't realize that this would be so popular. So I was like, ah. Second time I did it, I had almost the same number of people. No compensation. Like nothing. And I couldn't work it out. I was like, what's the yeah, and I don't know, like, is that because I mean, to be honest, all online offerings to me now, I'm just like, I love my clients. I have an online presence. I have an online product. I certainly have services, but the whole online thing for me is just such a drain. It's just every day. It's like a suck. It's like an energy suck. And now it makes so much sense. I tend to work with new clients, push them forward, and then on to the next client, push them forward. Old clients come back, new project, push them forward on the new project. You know, that makes so much sense why those sessions go so well, why I enjoy them so much, why my clients get so much out of them. It makes so much sense now why I've been not resisting, but why it just hasn't felt right. Like any online offering has just not felt right. It makes so much sense. It's like I can give it away with ease.
Yeah. Yeah, like this is my zone of genius. This is what I'm supposed to do. Like I'm a freaking fire starter for other people. Come on over. I'll start your fire. We'll get this set. It'll be big enough that it'll go. And then you take the ball and run with it. And so, and I'm sure, you know, I'm sure your clients are like, oh, thank God. Because I have all the ideas. I have all the creativity. I have all the vision. And they just can't make the campfire to light. You know what I mean? But they can bring the sticks over. They can make the campfire pit. Like they know what songs they're going to sing. Like just the whole thing.
And there might be water. They may have been gathering this stuff for years, like literally years.
Gosh. Yeah, or metal tends to be really perfectionist. So metal tends to be very like, I won't launch until it's perfect.
Lots of my clients.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then the earth are going to be like, oh, I don't know enough yet. I need to learn more. I need to learn more. And you're like, no. You basically have a PhD in this. You need to do the thing.
Yeah. People can't possibly think that I know what I'm talking about. It's like, oh, what? Because you've got 25 years experience doing it. Like, are you serious? Like, oh, but, you know, there's other people out there with better websites. And it's like, and? Like, a website is a website. Dude, you have a skill set. Get out there. Let people see it. Yeah. Makes total sense. Total sense.
And then once you know that, I mean, so for me, the other piece is like, once you know this, you're like, that now I can talk to people differently. You know, so I type everybody before they come in when I talk to them with my clients, because I know if I'm talking to a metal person, I want them to understand that I'm really freaking smart and I'm on my game and I can understand them. And if I'm talking to a water person, I want them to know that I get that they have a different rhythm and way of being than maybe other people do. And maybe they haven't been that understood and maybe this is different. And they can like trust me, basically. You know, and if they're earth, I'm going to be like, hi, I get you. You know, and if they're fire, it's that kind of, it's that I can meet you where you're at. Like, I'm not going to get bowled over by it.
And well, then it makes a lot of sense as well. Like if I think about the assistants that I've had to help me over time, and so I've had to let some of them go, and like, this doesn't work, like, it's fine, moving on, like, you know, and sometimes it just doesn't work. But the ones that do work and do work really well for me are highly, highly detail oriented people. Like they come in and they just do all the little bits and pieces that I don't have the time or the headspace to get my head around, so that I can do the rest of the stuff in my business. So
because again, fire visionary, big picture, fire can do a lot of things without actually grounding. Yeah. So it's one of the most grounded, right? So it's big picture visionary, just moving on. And wood is like, I just want to move quickly. Wood is very broad strokes forward movements. Yeah. So someone who's super detail oriented is great because now you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. Like that makes perfect sense. And I think that's also why people should really not fight. Fight's not the right word, but really pursue the right level of help that they need. And the right level, whether that's from a business coach or assistant.
Yeah.
Right.
Like your whole team, right?
Like anytime you're hiring someone and paying them money, it should be the complementary fit for sort of your weak spots, right? What are the things you know you need help with? What do you need shoring up? And find someone who fits that. Because I see a lot of people in this sort of online business industry where it's like, oh, well, I like so-and-so, you know, or I've met them once, and there's this inclination to hire people because of the relationship or how you feel about them. And it's like, but is that really what you need? Is this the best match? And I think what you just shared about your assistant is really clear, you know, that like, actually what you need, and this is a long-term relationship.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm just having a look here. We've got some questions. I'm not quite sure, Shane, what the link is for. I'm just having a look now. It looks like Shane's news, perhaps. So I'm not sure, Shane, if you want to, if there's a reason, if there's something on there that we can help us in this conversation, that would be great. Cheryl's just asked a question. So Shane, let them know who I am. Okay, Shane, what we do. Okay, then I'll come back to you on that. We've got a question there. Cheryl asks, so I am red metal for my 9-star key. So how does this differ for being a wood frequency?
Excellent. Hey, Cheryl. So it depends on how you were typed for your 9-star key and which position you're talking about in terms of being red metal, because there are 3. My guess is you either are a metal in a wood year. So oftentimes, so for the quiz, when people take it on my website, there are several factors, because obviously it's a quiz and it's meant to type people and be specific, but also it's not scientific because I'm not getting your birthdays and all those pieces. So people it's what's your professional element. Oftentimes your 3rd element comes up on the quiz on my site because you're in a business mindset when you're taking the quiz, right? So a lot of people, if they have experience with 9-star key and they know what their primary is, they get something different on the quiz. It tends to be their wood, or not their wood, their work element, right? Because you're in your work brain when you're taking the quiz. Mm-hmm. The other piece, which is again what I really love about frequency work, is there's a frequency for the month and a frequency for the year that you're in. So the year energy tends to be what gets picked up on. So I could also imagine that you might be in a wood year, and that's really flavoring like how you're thinking about things, how you're feeling about things, the answers that you're choosing. So, because this is definitely, it's derived from 9-star key, and the quiz is designed to pull out what's the strongest frequency in you right now, today.
Awesome. Cheryl, does that answer the question? Just let us know if you've got any other questions. And anyone, got it, Cheryl said, got it. Awesome. And if there's any other questions, just keep them coming, guys. Just put them in the chat window. That's what we're here for. Hopefully, we're revisiting the outcomes, which we're hopefully getting you guys to get an understanding of how understanding frequencies can change your own life and your perception of your business and your products and your services and your offerings and what you should and shouldn't be doing based on this core frequency.
Yeah, it's like, and I feel like what you're saying is so great. And what I love about this, I'm so excited to share this with all of my fire frequencies, is like, I feel like this idea of how to be a fire starter is really hard for people to wrap their brains around. And I feel like people that love the beginnings of things and the start and the visionary tend to get really stuck in their own selves, because it's like, what do we reward? We reward completion. We reward follow through. We reward stick-to-itiveness. So I'm sure there's part of you over the years that have been like, why am I so good at the start of things, but not the follow through? You know, like, is there something wrong with me? I mean, it's not about your commitment. It's about the part that you like the best. So the fact that you've been able to build a thriving business, essentially backing yourself into all these things that are so true about yourself, and build a business that is fire starting for other people, I just think is like the best example we could have had on this call. Like, this is complicated, you know? This isn't sort of a traditional or like normal business model, and it's totally working because it's you, right? It's so core to who you are and what you love. And as soon as you dropped all the other pieces that were draining you, it bloomed. So, and I think that's what people forget, is like, you can let go of the stuff that is draining you and that you don't love, to make space for the one thing that you really do to just explode and grow, and to give it really time and space.
Yeah, totally. And Katie's just said, oh my God, yes, so many unfinished projects. And Katie, we were just, if this is the Katie I think it is, we were just talking about the other day about expanding her business. We were talking about our businesses. We're in a business group together. And she was saying, I really want to expand, and I know I need more people on the team, and I don't quite know who I'm looking for. So Katie, it's Katie. Awesome. She just said, yep. So does that give you an idea? I think maybe you need to find some earths, or maybe you need to find some metals. Maybe you need people to do all those details while you go off fire starting new business, because that's what Katie was talking about. That's what she's best at, is going out and starting new things or getting the vision going. So Katie, I hope that's helped. She goes, I'm looking. Right. Okay. So any metals, woods out there that are looking for work, contact Katie. Katie just said, they all just think I'm crazy. No, you'll find the
right person who sees your vision and is like, I'll hold down the fort. You know, because that's the thing, is we all think, and I have a lot of fire in me, so I relate to this. We all think everyone's like us. And actually, this is the whole point with frequency. We all walk around thinking everyone else is like us. And I have to say, in my own life, I am Earth, and I'm a really intense version of Earth. I'm the Earth that has a lot of like challenges associated with it. And so I handle things really specifically. And then when I was younger, it didn't make me that good of a friend, right? Because I expected everyone else to handle things with the same level of maturity, groundedness, emotional processing as I did. And I would get like pissed at people for not like taking things as seriously as I did. And then as soon as I looked around and realized, and as soon as I figured out my frequency, I was like, oh my God, this is why I am how I am. And this is why everyone else is not how I am. It's easier.
Totally. This is like in the Pacific. So funny when you were describing water people, like, you know, they get there over time, and when they do, they like, you know, they arrive. When I was in the Pacific, I mean, I'm a fire starter, right? So I walk around starting projects and woo, like getting it all going. And I'm surrounded by a culture of water people. I swear to God, like all that, the people in Kiribati, I love them to bits. And Kiribati people, Kiribati culture, Kiribati, everything about Kiribati, I love it. Anyone who knows me knows I can rabbit on about it for hours. And this is in no way disparaging towards their people or their culture, because I love it and they're awesome. But that attitude of, I was like, come on, guys, come on, like where's the time? Like, come on, like, let's get this done. And they're not details people.
Fire and wood, moving forward. And water is just like,
finally I'd understood this before I went to the island. I would have had a lot less expectations on different people with different roles. And I guess this is the thing, right? It changes your life when you start looking at the people around you and the people in your business or your clients. You're like, oh, there might be a reason that this is the way you are. And that whole piece about, oh my God, is it just me? That why is no one doing what like I would do it? It's like, well, they're a different frequency, and it makes so much sense. We've got another question here.
And they're a different person, you know? And so I think just for Katie, like everyone thinks you're crazy. You're going to find that person that's like, I want to work for myself, but I don't want to run a business. Like I want to work from home. I want time freedom, but I want to make good money and I want to help someone else do that. Like I don't want to be the masthead on the ship. Yeah. You know, I don't want my all over the internet, you know, and you will find that person who just is like so stoked to hold down your fort while you go off and do what you do.
Katie, because not a fine one. Yeah. Katie's laughing now. Okay. We've got another question from Vish. Hey Vish, haven't seen you for ages. We'll have to catch up soon, by the way. I'm assuming this is Vish, as in Vish, one of my clients from a long time ago. She's just said, what are examples of offerings and services for water people? And thank you for a great webinar, by the way, she just said. Thanks, Vish. Oh. So products and services for water people, what would suit them?
Products and services for water people. This is great. So waters are going to do really best with deep transformational work. Anything that taps into the spiritual realm, anything, so like meditation. So I don't know what your expertise is. Actually, what does Vish do? That'll help me anchor this way better.
Vish does many things, but she is the owner-operator behind a business that creates client management systems. Vish, tell me if that's right. Basically, she's like in the digital space, into all things digital analytical systems.
Okay, so and you help your clients manage them.
Project management training and CRM consultancy. Yeah, that's what she's. Thanks, Vish. Sorry, like I know I've got the details. I just don't know how to say it. Thank you. Can you tell me in the future? Yeah.
So for your water, and that's what you can read about all of them on the Frequency Center. So I just saw that come in on the Frequency Center website, which is a menu option at the top.
So if you go to the top there, it says Frequency Center. And then if you go into there, I'm just on Ellen's site now. If you go into there, it's got the take the quiz. And then there's all little earth, fire, metal, water, wood. You can read more about them there.
And you can have money making guides that go with each of them that really walk you through all this stuff. If you take the quiz and opt in, you get a ton of free content as well.
Awesome.
But the money making guides are super resourceful. So for water and a job like yours that sounds like it's very consultant based, you're working with a lot of other people, you're going to want to have essentially two types of offerings. And one is like the really ongoing deep dive work. Like I'm sure, Vish, you probably do best with these really ongoing clients that let you go really deep with them and really, really into their businesses.
Well, she creates CRM systems for them. So I'm assuming that would not be something that is like in our...
Yeah, that's about as deep as it gets. But it would, my guess is it would be hard for you to be like, I create the CRM and then I create this, you know, like to do it like as quick as we've been talking about here, like fire, move. It's like, to me, it's like create the CRM and then help them with the training and the onboarding and like all of those pieces, because those deeper relationships are going to give you more access to reveal even more of what you know and what they need help with that probably wouldn't come up in the beginning of the scope of the contract. So leaving room for expansion and for depth and for more to unfold, I think is going to be really important for you. So like way high end, kind of like a la carte things that are going to give you a lot of time and space. And then for water, for time management, having blocks of time that is essentially float time. So some of it's like, I'm going to go for a walk, but some of it's like for 2 hours, I'm going to work on this project. And then I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to do something else. And then I'm going to pick up my kids, right? Like some of us can have these free floating work days and we're just sort of naturally like wood and get a lot of it done and we move ourselves forward. Water needs time containers, because so for water, you need something to push off of, right? You need the banks of the river to keep moving, right? And so if you give yourself those time containers during your day to manage yourself, it's going to help you keep moving projects forward. There you go. Yeah.
Vish has just said, oh my God, that's exactly how I work best. Yes, see, this stuff
you're doing it. It works.
It's so real. Oh my God.
Yeah, so the invitation here, Vish, is to like lean into that and let go of the, I need to have 50, I don't know what your brain is, you know, but like I need to have 50 clients, or I need to have more, or I need to do more. It's like, no, you need to go deeper. And to do that, you need to build that into your contracts with people to really give you the time and space to kind of show them even more layers of what you have to offer, and then to manage your own time in those ways. Less is going to be more, and depth is going to be the key for you.
And see, that is so the opposite of how I work. Like I tend to go, oh, there's that deadline. Yep. Yeah, there's that deadline. Yeah.
Yep.
I think I need to go and put the washing on. Oh, actually, no, I think I need to go outside and do some gardening. And then, the deadline's coming, and then the deadline will be there. It's like, whoa! And like a month's work will get done in 3 days. I'll be up for 18-hour days. My brain will just be on, and bang, it'll happen. And then, it's done. Isn't that useful?
And then we're good.
Yeah. And that's how I've always worked in my jobs as well. The problem with me in my job is that because my brain works like that, like some days it's just on and it is unstoppable. Like I can get 3 or 4 days work done in the matter of like 10 hours because I'm hyper focused and I can just pump stuff out. My bosses have often seen that as like a superpower, but they're like, oh, great. Then if you do it that fast, you can do it that fast every day. It's like, no, because when I go through one of those surges, then the next 2 weeks I'll be like, yeah.
It's like recovery.
So, yeah.
It's, it's total recovery time.
And this is why school and workplaces and 9-to-5 arrangements are so full of shit. Excuse my language, but it's the truth. Like all people don't work between 9 and 5. I personally don't. I'll get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and barrel through till 10 o'clock and then go, yeah, I've been over it today, and I'll need to take off until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then 4 o'clock again, I'll fire up again and for the rest of the day,
Yeah.
The world is not designed to work in a 9-to-5 box. It just doesn't work. Vish just said, thank you so much. You're welcome, Vish. This is why we're having this chat, so that hopefully some of you are having like aha moments. Some of you are thinking about your partners, your colleagues, your businesses and going, I think I need to do a bit more reading about this. That's what we're hoping. If there's any more questions there, please pop them in the chat because we've already been going for about 40 minutes and we said we were going to try and keep this as punchy as possible. Oh, another question's come in. Hiya, I just took the quiz and apparently I'm a wood frequency. I'm a graphic designer and I've started my business specializing in lifestyle products. How can knowing my frequency help me better? Over to you, Ellen.
Yeah, awesome. Yay, light bulbs bursting, Diane. I just saw, I did like 3 at once. It's funny, I get all these comments at once. Maureen, that's so exciting. Congratulations. So you're a graphic designer specializing in lifestyle products. So for wood, it's all gonna be about time management, organization, and also being really clear on what you wanna say yes and no to. Because as we've talked about a lot with Maria, it's easy for you to say yes to things, right? It's easy for you to just be like, sure, I'll do this, and I'll do this, and I'll do this. And then all of a sudden it's like a blackberry bush where you're like, the branches aren't going anywhere, or the branches aren't going where I want them to go. So being really aware of your tendency to say yes to all the things, and then, but ask yourself, do I really want to do this? Because with wood, it's like, you can do it. Obviously you can do it. That's not the question. It's like, do you want to do it? And what are the costs going to be down the road if you've said, kind of like your experience in the Pacific, right? Where you said yes to everything and then your body shut down. So I think for wood people, and so also for wood people starting out, you do have kind of, I don't want to say an advantage because that makes everyone else sound like a disadvantage, but this natural like go, 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 like really action oriented is going to super work in your favor because you're going to implement, you're going to move things forward. You're not going to get stuck in the like insecurity or what should I do next. There's such this natural like sense of movement with you that's gonna play really well together. So what I would also just be aware of is not everyone else moves as fast as you. So as you're connecting with your potential clients and your partners and all of those pieces, like be aware that they don't have both this fire of this is new and exciting and I love it and I want to do it all the time, and sort of they probably don't work as fast as you. And so to be gentle with them, but also stay on them. And so really looking at people, something that you could specialize in the beginning part of your business while you're getting your portfolio built until you have time to sort of recalibrate with more, with sort of a comfortable financial buffer and like time under your belt, is really specializing in quick turnaround. Like you probably work really quickly and that would be a cool thing to advertise, like this type of project takes me this many days. So that, because a lot of people need graphic design and often they need it 3 weeks ago. So I think if you could come in and be like, hey, I can do this in 2 days, I can do this in a week, that's going to be really compelling for people. And it plays to your strengths.
Well, how lucky are you, Amreen? You just got like a personal consult there. Lucky lady. Yeah, look, and Ellen's really generous with her time and her, well, obviously today coming online and helping us and showing you as much as she has done about frequencies, but there's so much information on her website as well. So go and have a look. We promised that this would be a pitch-free zone and we're not pitching anything today. We have nothing to sell.
We just want you to know that there's like a better, easier way to think about all this stuff as you grow your business, and that there is this amazing resource that helps you rethink about this in ways that's going to make it easier for you to let go of these pieces and move forward. Because I think, I mean, part of why it's such a love connection with Maria and I is we are just obsessed with this idea of building a business that's personally tailored to you and kind of fuck everything else, you know, like who are you? What are you good at? What's your thing? And leaning into that and frequency being the tool that we're like, oh, this is it. We have to talk about this.
And this is why when people come to me from a content perspective, they say, oh yeah, everyone tells me I need to do an e-course because my business coach said that's the best way to leverage my time. And I just look at them and go, do you want to record videos of yourself training people? Or like, you know, delivering training? No. Yeah. Well, okay. Do you want to write the book? No. I'm like, okay, well, e-course might not be the thing for you then, because if you're going to do that, then you need to create the content. And if you don't like, do you know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? If you're a community-driven person, why don't you create a community and deliver an offering where you can give this stuff over in bursts? And you don't have to have it all polished beforehand. And they're like, oh, I never thought about that. It's like, you don't have to. An e-course is not your magic bullet to success. It's as simple as that. You've got to look at who you are, what you're best suited to. Frequencies obviously help you with understanding a lot of that. And that's not the only tool though as well. It's how you want to spend your time every day, how much time you've got to give every day. So yeah, I get fired if you tell me I can't.
Your life, like your unique life. I know it's the fire piece. We're just like, da, 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 da.
It drives me nuts. We've just got one last question and we are going to address it because I think it's really true. And this happened for me as well. So Diana said, when I did the quiz, it said I'm fire. However, as you spoke, I feel like I resonate with water frequency as you've spoken about it. So I'm not sure what to think. Do they work together? That is a really good question. And I think because when you were talking, I was like, yes, wood. Oh, yes, fire starter, definitely. And then there's other aspects of my life. And I think that, Ellen, you were talking about this at the start, how there's an outer frequency and then there's an inner frequency. So you could, is it right in thinking that you're not just specifically one and that's it?
Yeah, it's very, I have to say, statistically, it's rare that somebody is one frequency all the way through, sort of based on the way that the math works out. That's a rare, it happens, absolutely, but it's statistically rare. So it's perfectly possible, Diana, that you have a combination of fire and water in your frequency, that maybe your work position is water, but your regular is fire, or you've got fire in your internal life. Like that's totally possible. It's also possible you're in either a fire or water year, right? And so the energy of the year behind you is sort of amping up that side of you and making you feel more fiery or more watery, sort of depending on which way it goes. And I would also say that fire and water are similar but different, right? They're both kind of unconstrained. They both do what they do. They're both really visionary, but in different ways. Water tends to be more spiritually based and fire tends to be more crazy inventor based, I would say. You know what I mean? So they are similar but different. And if you send me an email after this, I'd be happy to like dive into this a little bit more with you and help you untangle that. But yeah, they're similar but different, and it could easily be picking up different aspects of your personality, because the quiz is like what's strongest right now today.
Yeah. And I guess that it's that sort of, there's the work and then there's the home life. Because I mean, when you discuss those things from a home life perspective, I really resonate with the earth. Like people, I'm Mama Maria. People call me Mama Maria. I'm the one that bakes chicken soup when you're sick. And you know what I mean? Instead of, come and be grounded here. So I don't know, professional life, personal life. I'm assuming that these things are not rigid, that there's some flexibility depending on where you're coming from.
Here's where the uniqueness kicks in. And everyone's a blend of all five, right? Just like a plant is a base of all five elements, even though what you see is like the chlorophyll and hard copy in front of you. Like it has water and air and earth inside it, right? Like we are all blends of all five. It's just a question of which ones are strongest in which part of us. And which makes it, again, when you get really into this, like when I do this blends with my clients, that's why doing this work personally is so awesome, because we get super tailored, right? We get really into the nitty gritty. And the other piece, which is the magic, is your face has something to do with it too. It's your soul's expression impacts your frequency as well. So it's both based on when you were born and who you are, you know? And so Maria, you've got this earthy face, like so earthy, like it's wonderful. Like, and it's kindredness of spirit here. And for me, I've got a lot of fire. And you can't really see it on the video, but I've got a ton of freckles. My hair's kind of red. Like these are all fire indicators, even though it's not in my frequency base, it still impacts how my frequency shows up in the world. And so that's the last sort of overlay on all of this, is without looking at all of your guys' faces as well, it's hard to say exactly where that shows up. But yeah, we're blends. you know, and we're unique individuals. And that's so cool, understanding how that all works together to make your unique unit.
And when you work with Ellen, she doesn't just do this as well. She looks at where you are in the cycle of like years of what your business and whether you're on an upward cycle or a consolidation cycle. Look, Ellen is a freaking genius. And if you've resonated with her, then get in contact with her. She's just the hour that I spent on the phone with her, it was supposed to be like, oh, hello, what do you do? And I've heard that you're good. And it was just this like bang, like it was so powerful. We had such an amazing connection in that call. And I think this is what the thing with business coaches, what I've found anyway, is that when you work with a business coach, you've got to hit it off. There's got to be some sort of resonance there. So if you want more information about this, definitely go to Ellen's website. She's very generous with her knowledge and she's got it all there for you to read. And definitely get in contact with her if you feel some resonance or you want a little bit more. I've just got, Diana, I hope that's answered your question. I'm pretty sure it did, in that you can be a combination of different frequencies. You don't necessarily just have to translate as one. Now, Diane has just said, another Diane. Diana said, yes, thank you. Awesome, Diana, good to hear. So Diane has just said, I'm on fire when I dive deep into spiritual growth of others. Water gives me the breathing space. Fire is the passion. Actually, a great balance.
Love that. Oh, that's so gorgeous.
Diane is an amazing healer who just, her power absolutely blows my mind what that woman is capable of. She's amazing.
And that's a really great example of harnessing both of them and harnessing your own unique frequency, right? And letting the fire and the water blend together to create like huge transformation. Like that's so gorgeous.
And Les has just said, will it work if you don't have a clue what you want to do? I would say yes. This is where you work out what's not going to work based on who you are and what you do. And this is why I said, I wish I'd spoken to Ellen 4 years ago, because I built a business, well, my original business that I shut down, the next one that I started, the offerings that I was trying to create, trying to just go along with what everyone else was doing, what everyone told me was the best thing to do for passive income. It was a joke. It was a nightmare. It was so not suited to who I am and to how I operate best and to what my zone of genius is, my frequency. Now, obviously, it all makes sense, like pennies dropping. It's like I've got the formula now. The business is working. It's great. I love what I do. And it's bringing me in an income and it's fantastic. But man, would it have been a shortcut to get there? And I'm not pitching Ellen. I'm just saying what I learned from Ellen in an hour on the phone. I was just like, oh my God, like seriously, crazy that, Anyway, I hope my parting comment, because I don't think we've got any more. Oh, Les, I hope, did that answer your question, Les? I think yes is definitely the answer. This is the best time if you're at a crossroads. Would you agree, Ellen?
Absolutely, yeah, because it's going to give you insight to where you are and where you're going and all of your unique stuff. And I love diving into that stuff. Like,
so go deep, go into Ellen's website, read as much as you can. If you want help, she's there. I think we should have a parting comment each. My parting comment, wrapping it all up and bringing it together, as long as there's no questions, which there doesn't seem to be at the moment, is if you want to change the world with your content, if you've got expertise, if you've got skills, if you've got experience that you know can help others, and you know that the key to moving forward is helping them by creating a learning experience like a book or a workshop or an e-course or a mastermind series or a trip, whatever it is, a bunch of presentations, a keynote, it doesn't matter what the offering is. You can sort that out, but work it out based on your strengths. Do not create a business around offerings that other people tell you are going to make money. Create offerings around doing the things that light you up. And if that's writing, awesome. If that's coaching and facilitating and being an online cheerleader, great. Isolate those things first. Create offerings that light you up, because when you are lit up, then the sun shines out of your behind. I'm sorry, it's the truth. And people, you're allowed to work in your zone of genius. You're so much more efficient. You're so much more effective. People can see that radiance in you and they will be attracted to you and your services because you're operating the best way that you possibly can. That's what I've learned out of the last 4 years of business. That is actively what I help my clients do now, is shove away the offerings that are not going to work for them. Yes, they might make economical sense. They might make financial sense. They might make business planning sense. But all of that is bullshit. If you are setting up a business, you're trying to create a life you love. You're not trying to create another 9 to 5 for yourself. And if you're creating offerings that are off kilter with who you are, then you may as well be back in the office working for the man, because that's what it's going to feel like. So that's my parting comment. Ellen, have you got one to...
Oh, that's so gorgeous. Oh, it's so gorgeous. I'm going to transcribe that and send it out to all my people later, because it's just like so on point. And I think, my addition to that is it's about it's the insides that make the outsides, as above, so below. And so if you have a bunch of stuff that you're not working on, that you're freaked out about, that you're scared about, old experiences, fears, doubts, whatever, until you work them through inside yourself, you will build a business that is like a mirror that reflects those same doubts and concerns and fears and past experiences. It's unreal how we are our own bottleneck for that kind of stuff. You know, when you look at the challenges that your businesses are facing, it's so clear that it's stuff you are facing in your head and in your heart, right? And so really, like, for the business growth, for everything you just said, to build the life you love, because that's why we're here. Like, we're here because we freaking care, you know, and we want that freedom and the life we love. You have to work on your insides to handle the outside piece, because once you're clear on this part, that part becomes really easy, and you're no longer trying to please everyone. You're no longer listening to really bad advice because you're not pulled by it, because you know that doesn't work for you, and you're grounded in yourself and you're confident in yourself. And again, that's where the sun shines out your bum the same way. That confidence is that radiance piece, and that's what everyone is so attracted to. Like, that's what we want. That's the we'll have what she's having moment, right? Whatever that is. And so it's the same. It's on the inside,
and that worked
you
for
know.
me
and
when I got rid of all the offerings that weren't me. It's as simple as that. It all came together when I rang my 76 clients that I'd had 2 years, 3 years into business and said, what do you actually want? Because I've got all these offerings that I can do next year and I can't really decide. And 99% of them said the same thing. Just want you. That's what we want.
That's also ask for help. Ask for support, ask for feedback. I think there's this other thing, especially women business owners, and men do it too, but differently. If we we feel like we have to do it all ourselves, we have to have it perfect in our heads, and then it's going to work perfectly exactly how we thought right out the gate. And I don't know where this, I mean, whatever, that's a whole nother conversation, but like, ask for help, ask for feedback. If you don't know what to do, find the right person to support you, but also, like, you can ask clients. Like, it's okay to be vulnerable. Like, that's important. And I think that gets overlooked in this era of like, I'm perfect on the internet and I do perfect things and it's amazing. And like,
exactly. Exactly. And don't follow the woman who says, follow my 12-step thing and you'll be sipping pina coladas on a beach in Thailand. You know, like that, that again, it's a way of offering. It's a way of putting forward a product. It might work for her. It might be absolutely 100% centered on who she is and how she works best, that online offering or that webinar that's spruiking some service that she's offering. Don't get sucked in by the hype. Talk to someone who knows what they're doing and get it sorted out for you. It's not, you don't have to talk to me. You don't have to talk to Ellen. There are business coaches. There are people who do this all over the world. This is like a general sort of call out for people who know what they're doing, but get the help that you need. Create products and offerings and a business based on who you are and you will fly. It's as simple as that. Correct?
Because that is a shorter way to do it. Absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't have to be so hard. Like, it doesn't have to be so hard. And the ease comes when you let all that other stuff go and you dive into yourself and just get out of your own way.
So much for 30, 40 minutes. We've hit 57. Hurrah. Anyway, I think, look, I've got the same sort of pumped up feeling I had when we chatted on the phone a couple of weeks ago. I think this stuff is the stuff that more people need to be talking about, that we need to be talking to our kids about, that we need to be talking to younger generations about. You know, we didn't learn this stuff in high school, and damn it, it should be in the curriculum. Don't push stuff that doesn't feel right. If it doesn't feel right, there's a fair chance of something else that feels really good. Push that instead. Dina said, thank you, great message. Darren said, awesome, thank you, so many good insights. Yay! This is why we're doing this, because we knew that it would have this impact. Diane, as in business, so it is in life. Exactly. Do what you... Oh, I just have a collective Mama Bear hug coming. That's what it feels like. I love it. I just love the energy that comes out of having discussions like this. So I hope that that's helped you guys. Please get in touch with either of us if you need either of our help. But yeah.
Love the conversation.
Shine on.
Thank you so much, everyone.
All right.
So fantastic.
Thanks, Ellen. And thanks for being here, everyone. And hopefully we'll see you soon. Talk to you soon, guys. See ya.
Bye.